Good morning, Montreal. You're tuned into the Morning Detour on CKUT 90.3 FM. And today we're bringing you nothing but excellence. I'm here with guest co-host. I don't like saying that because, you know, she's the beauty and brains behind this show. Okay, she's the OG of the Morning Detour. Okay, there wouldn't be a detour or a morning without Labrina.
There will be many mornings.
But yo, you know, by the way, like, just shout out again on your Grammy reporting. But she's a host and producer of Total R&B, so, you know, check that out. Also, Crown Project. I'm gonna keep bigging it up throughout the whole show, so you know. So our first guest today is a powerhouse in the literary and business world. Latoya Belfon is a best-selling author, award-winning publisher, and public speaker who's all about empowering others through storytelling and entrepreneurship. So as the CEO of LabWorks Publishing, she's published over 15 books. Gal, you can write, girl.
That's just, yeah.
Yo, you don't get that carpal tunnel ting? I'm joking. She's led workshops for organizations like BMO's Black Entrepreneurship Program and was named one of Canada's top 100 Black women to watch, as well as being one of the CBC Changemakers with myself last year. Girl, you know, give it up to us. So let's welcome the aspiring Latoya Belfon. Welcome to the show, lovely.
What an intro.
Oh, thank you. I'm not as good as Weezy, but I am working on it.
You're so good. You're so good. You're so good.
15 books.
I don't even want to even count because it's more than that. I stopped counting after 15 because I just feel it's like too
Listen,
much.
listeners.
Wow.
So all
But,
y'all who have it in your head to write your journals and ting, you say you're gonna do a book and you haven't done it yet. Latoya beat you. She stopped counting at 15.
Yeah.
So she probably got 30 in the works. Okay.
I just stopped. Yeah, I just stopped counting now.
Yo,
Yeah.
so you've accomplished so much as an author and publisher. Can you share what first inspired you to like pursue this path and how your journey has evolved into, you know, shaping other authors and what it is today?
Yeah, so basically I started writing when I was about 16, just by happenstance. Like, I was babysitting these twin boys and they were obsessed with reading, and I was just too lazy to get up to get another book. I was like, okay, here comes another story. I started making up this story. Every night they want to hear more about the character, the development of the story, and it just grew and grew and grew. And their mom was overhearing us one night, and she was like, you should write that story.
Yeah.
I started, and mind you, I haven't published that story yet.
You know, so that'll be number 31.
I know.
I haven't done it because it's more like a novel or a short story or that kind of format. I hadn't intended to publish children's books
Okay,
in that
awesome.
form at all.
No,
Yeah.
but that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yo, and so with the work you do with other aspiring authors, how did that come about?
So what happened was, like, when I picked up writing again, because about probably I was 16 and I picked it up at 36. I gave birth, it was COVID. I was trying to figure out what to do as an entrepreneur. And, you know, I was researching what am I good at? You know, what can I be successful at? And I was like, yeah, I know how to write. I love writing, so why not go back to that? Basically, once I did that and I realized, you know, I told myself, listen, you got to learn how to publish, because when I looked around my community, I was like, who can I ask about this journey right now? I couldn't find no one to ask in my community. So I was like, I need to learn how to publish. I need to be in control of my intellectual property. Immediately I started thinking about that.
Own your own means of production.
Yeah. So I need to learn, and I'm giving myself 3 days. 3 days.
3 days only?
72 hours, girl.
Well, when you have a baby on your hip and you have limited time, it pushes you to get
Deadline's got to be
things
3
done.
days. Okay.
Right? 3 days, and that's all I got to see if this dream gonna work or not.
Yeah.
And I like literally absorbed content. I figured out how to illustrate digitally.
Yo, pass me one of them. Let me see.
Yeah.
That's why you're talking. You understand me?
Canva was like really instrumental in some of that. And then I just dived in. 3 days later, I published something, and I just kept going because I needed to learn fast and I needed to learn by trial and error. So I just kept publishing a book every week, a children's book. The community was like, I felt so much love from Black Atlas. When I posted my first book there, I got so much love. They were like, is it in French? We want to buy. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. And then people started reaching out to me, hey, I have an idea. So I didn't really think about everybody else's author goals.
Yeah.
Until they were like, I really want to tell my story.
Yeah.
So I struggled with, okay, should I put this aside and start to help people? But it started pouring in, so I just kind of did that. I said, okay, let me help my community.
So you're doing like both at the same time?
Doing both at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you because our girl need to tell her story too, eh?
You're about to tell your story, girl,
Yo,
because
listen.
you don't want somebody to do it for you.
Rightfully so. I always say you gotta air out. I always say the time will come where I air out my own dirty laundry because now these people want to come at me. You know what I mean? Like I'll air it out myself. I'll come to you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But that's amazing, and it just shows when something is for you, it will happen. Because you took 3 days, you were putting out those books on a weekly basis, and it just grew from there. That's amazing. But my question to you is, as the CEO of LabWorks Publishing, you made a significant impact amplifying diverse voices in literature. So how do you ensure that your platform continues to promote the stories of like underrepresented communities in an authentic way too?
Well, I think that's what's really important. Like, just like the girl before us, representation is important.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier about, like, we all don't have the same Black history.
Yeah.
So right now, like in America, like a lot of the books is about Black here and Black this and Black that. But my books, you'll see a Caribbean vibe. That's my story.
I already looked at it too. Izzy on the walk
Izzy
home, and
accent.
the way I talk,
right?
Rightfully so.
So you won't see like a lot of Black authors in America making books about the way I talk, but Caribbean authors, we know the struggle that came with, coming to Canada and your accent is off and people laughing.
Listen, I still
You're
hear
having
it.
a moment.
I have to tell people I'm an Anglophone Quebecois, baby, okay? First generation immigrant, but Anglophone Quebecois. People think I'm from the States or something. I'm like, no, I was raised in a Caribbean household.
Exactly.
So it's like, you don't really know how you sound until you go to school.
And then they're
Somebody
like,
points
what
it out.
They're like, where are you from?
Why are you talking so funny? You go through all of that. I remember publishing this book probably like, a year and a half ago. And an older woman, she's like, that happened to me. They laughed at me. Like, she was having her whole moment, a flashback of how she was treated because her accent was different. And what happened when I published, my mom said, my nephew was dealing with that in the States right now where it silenced him. Kids making fun of your accent, you don't sound like the norm. What you do in a classroom, you're quiet, you're silent. What happens, learning is not, in a comfortable, safe space for that child. So it just trickles over to all these different socioeconomic.
You get it in the home, you get it out the home and in the home, because they'll tell you speaking twang and all this thing, and you sound like a foreigner and all that stuff, and you're like, I'm in a foreign country. What do you want me to sound like? You understand me? But you have a lot, like we mentioned, CBC Changemakers of 2024, but also Canada's top 100 Black women, right, to watch. How do you feel about all this recognition coming your way? And in the midst of all this recognition, how do you still stay grounded and humble and authentically you?
Oh my gosh, because impact and awards, these things are just that. Impact is when you can actually see real change. And until that's done, I am very thankful for all the awards. I don't ever want to sound too, ungrateful. But unless I'm changing my community, it's really not the impact that I really hold dear. It's just leverage for the next thing. Okay, I win this. Okay, this is leverage for the next thing. It's just to get me into the next room. Because the goal is bigger than publishing.
The goal is the impact. The goal is how many lives you can change versus the awards on the shelf. And the same thing, because I think Weezy was mentioning me and the CBC Changemaker thing more than my damn self, And I was always telling people, because people were like, yo, Tamara, you do so much. And I always say, I'm just a servant leader. I just said I wanted to be a helper because I spent a lot of time living a life when I wasn't helping nobody. You know what I mean? So the same thing that you're saying, to me, it's like you could get 1 million awards if you want. I see people who are community people, they're community advocates, but yet behind closed doors, their character doesn't add up and it stinks. You know what I mean? So I feel you when you say you can have all the accolades, but it's about the impact, and that resonates with me.
It's about the impact, because what do you do? For example, with when we're talking about the song coming up, we did #1s on the iTunes chart for children's music for Canada.
Okay,
now,
congratulations!
Thank you so
shout
much.
out to you.
But listen, for me, it's really okay, this is done. What's next? Because the impact, it's not done. The job is not over.
No, exactly.
So after that, I could have been like, okay, great. Everybody knows on social media. I could have been done, but the impact is not done.
Yeah.
Is it in homes? Is it in schools?
The work isn't done.
Are we discussing what the song means? The work isn't done. You know, we have to still keep going.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. The goal is bigger than publishing.
Rightfully so. It's
you know me, it's never just about one thing. You know, it's really about books and media and content and, you know, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel now that's just putting out content, diverse content.
Okay, awesome.
You know, so that's the goal. It's bigger. And you know what I was thinking? I was like, you know, the other day I looked at my YouTube channel for my publishing company for kids. It's called Storyland Playground. And it started the same year as Gracie's Corner.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
And the dream for me at that time was to get deep into animated videos and content. And I'm a teacher as well.
Okay.
Educational content. and I sat there and I'm like, Latoya, it's not that you didn't have, you know, the dream or the goal or the vision for that, but the support, the community, investment, finances, these kind of things. Who's investing in content just to represent our community?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's sometimes you don't want to be the first, but you kind of have to be the first.
Yeah.
But it's going to encourage so many other people to follow in your footsteps with what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. The kids are just, all the kids want to write a story. Like, they're all for it. And I love it.
I love that. So it is the last day of Black History Month, but, you know, we should be celebrating every day.
We are, yes.
But I want to know, like, how do you see literature contributing to the ongoing celebration of Black excellence?
Oh my gosh. Of course, literature is it's history.
Yeah.
Black history, written literature, it's always going to affect the history that we attach to it. But it's really important for us to be a part of that conversation. It's really important for us to be the narrators of our own story.
Rightfully so.
You know, we have to create the opportunities. No longer do we say, you know, okay, there's none of this, so there's no representation for this. We have to create. That's why Tyler Perry is so fantastic at what he's doing. It's because he's creating those opportunities. And just like that actress before, sometimes we're gonna have to create the movie. We're gonna have to, you know, get the GoFundMe or get the crowdfunding together to create those movies. Create that Viola Desmond show. Do it, because who is going to do it
and to tell our own stories.
Yeah,
I was about to say that to make sure that they're in our hands instead.
Yeah,
because look what we've seen with the history books, right? That's what happens when you have someone else telling your own history.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but we're talking about a lot of the work you've done as an author and a creative. But are there Black authors or creatives that have inspired you on your journey?
Black authors and Black creatives. I don't even know where I got this dream to be an author from, like out of the sky. Like I'm sure they're around, but what can I say? I know that Jamaica Kincaid back in college. Like I talk about that story. If you read the book Girl, it's very dramatic. If you read that story, but hearing that story about, you know, I can't even say it online though. But it's in college. Just imagine sitting down and having a predominantly white classroom hear about, you know, when you get your first period as a Black Caribbean woman and your grandmother said, well, you better don't go do that.
Yeah, and
you better don't go do that, in that kind of, you know, and the whole class in shock, and your white teacher everybody's looking at you like, what's the answer to this? But I felt so like, you know, seen still with that piece of literature. And that for me was like, man, I want to write like her. I want to write and be discussed in literature in that way. So I think for her, Jamaica Kincaid, she's inspired so many people, by the way. And then later on in university at McGill, I think when it really hit me to get back to a little bit of writing was when I saw Serena Williams on a science book. I was like, what is a Black...
That's new to me.
Yeah.
I'm still on that dirty wig. I was still on that dirty blonde wig. I'm sorry, I can't get over it, man. Like, geez.
It was really, it did something for me, you know, seeing some sort of Blackness. Trust me, when you're in some place, did I mention this, the university? I'm not even. When you're in some places and you could rarely see a shade like yours, and then you come into a classroom and you see a book that has a Black person on it, you're like, my God, the whole class couldn't get it, but I got it, you know? My God,
definitely.
so that's what we do.
Now, with all the books that you've published, 15 that we know of so far, because there's way more than 15.
31.
I was going to say like 50 of them, basically, at this point. So I want to know, what's been the most rewarding part of empowering others to share their story?
Oh, seeing their books, Like, I know, like, a few of them have been, well, I think about 3 of them have helped to become bestsellers. like they've surpassed my success, which is what you want, you know, as a businesswoman, you want those who you have to be better than you. So they've surpassed my success, and one is the Black Book of Poetry by Khalil John. His was just massive. Like there was sales, there's still sales beyond in the U.S. and here. And Yvonne Sam, she's a nurse. She was a fellow changemaker.
Okay, also, 2022, I think?
Yeah. She as well, she published last year, Beyond Nursing.
Okay.
Fantastic book. She became a bestseller. I mean, she's just an excellent writer.
Yeah.
And Nefemi Fagbon, she's also great at what she does, and your beauty police. So there's a few people I've helped. There's many people that I've helped along the way, hundreds of authors, because I do workshops for, you know what? The States is just really on authorship. I don't know what it's going to take for over here to get on it.
Yeah.
But anytime I post workshops, Atlanta people, like,
No, but over there is different. You know what someone said? Because over there is the Black American identity.
Yeah.
Over here, we are there's so much diversity in the Black Canadian identity. You're Afro this, you're Caribbean, and even from the Caribbean islands, you're Haitian, you're Bajan, you're Trini. Trinis don't chill with the Vinci, and the Vinci don't chill with the Jacans. You know what I mean? But in America, they hone that oneness. So it's easier to support people. I find, and even like people who I know who come from America and come here, they're always like, they notice that's the difference as well. You know, they have more of that shared identity, and that comes the unity. It's
they
easier.
just have a hunger to be
and to support.
To support, to be in charge of business, to be, you know, the narrator of their story. They're just hungry to be a part of literature history. And I'm just like, what's going on over here, guys? It's coming.
Empower. With your 51 books is coming.
I'm at 51 now.
30. Finally, what's next for LabWorks Publishing and Latoya Belfon? What's next in the works?
Well, you see, we got into music medallions, so I'm excited about that. So when you guys hear it, jump to it. It's kind of pretty hot. So we got into children's music, so that's going to be continuing. We have a YouTube channel where we're going to be posting a lot of content, Storyland Playground, read aloud books. I'm looking for authors as well to publish.
Okay.
And then definitely like mini TV series we're working on. There's so much. Listen, the brain. We
got a TV makeup artist coming up next, so you know what I mean? Everything I'm going here to this morning, okay?
Yeah, so we're trying to build an empire here, like, you know. So.
Rightfully so. And shout out to you for that. It's really awesome, the work that you're doing. You know, this whole month we had so many awesome guests, and you're just another one on the list with like you said, with the impact you're leaving behind. So for people who want to listen to your music or get your books, where can they follow you? Shout out your socials.
Yes, so you can follow me personally, Latoya Belfon John, for all sorts of things on consults for publishing. But my platforms for books and publishing, LabBooks Publishing AD, adults and children's platform on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, you know, Latoya Belfon, Mrs. 3151 books, okay? You know,
1,800.
And music. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and, you know, for sharing your story is really inspiring. And I might just link you up too and be the next Finding Me via Viola Davis. Who knows? You know what I mean?
I'd be honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the Morning Detour.
Thank you.
If you're looking to connect with Latoya or learn more about her work, check out LabWorks Publishing and follow her on her socials. And don't go anywhere. We've got more amazing guests coming up, so stay locked in to CKUT 90.3 FM.